Nínú ìṣirò tòní, ohun tí a fẹ́ gbé yẹ̀wò ni trigonometry. Kí ni mo pè é? Trigonometry. Ní tí à ń pè ní ìmọ̀ ìṣirò ìbáṣepọ̀ angular. Ìmọ̀ ìṣirò kí ni o? Ìbáṣepọ̀ angular. Kí ni à ń pè ní trigonometry? In English, this is the study of the relationship of angles. And nínú àwọn angles tá à ń sọ yìí tá a fẹ́ wò ní sin theta, cos theta and tan theta. Ó ní orúkọ kan tá a máa ń fún when we were in school. We call it SOHCAHTUA. Tẹ́ bá rántí dáadáa, òun la máa fi kọ láyé ìgbà tiwa. So ẹ lọ gbìyànjú kẹ́ ẹ mọ ohun tó ń jẹ́ SOHCAHTUA. A wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní mú àwọn angle yìí, a fẹ́ máa mú wọn ní ẹyọ kọ̀ọ̀kan. Kí ni à ń pè ní sin theta? Ó ní ìhà àyípadà angular. That is, refers to the ratio of the length of side opposite an angle to the hypotenuse in a right angle triangle. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n sáré lọ síbi shapes ká sọ̀rọ̀ nípa àwọn bá a ṣe lè draw àwọn angle. Let's say I have a straight line, another straight line, and this another straight line. Eléyìí ti form triangle fún mi. In these shapes, and I have P. Okay, let me pick the pen again. P, then O, then let's call this one. Let it move like, okay, we have X, and let us call this place N. So at this angle now, this is the angle we are referring to. Let's call this angle theta. So for me to have this triangle, this is a right angle triangle. This indication what is of our way is a right angle triangle. Taba fẹ́ ṣiṣẹ́ láti àzọ̀ tó wọ́n béèrè pé kí ni sin theta of this angle. How do we achieve that? We say that sin theta is equal to, so from the word so, opposite over hypotenuse. You look at, let me first of all write opposite over hypotenuse. And what is the opposite here? The opposite here, it is this side, which is PM over what? Hypotenuse. This is our hypotenuse side. That one is what? OP. So we have MP or PM. So this one is now mean MP over OP. To determine the sin theta is like that. And to determine the cos theta also, that is CA. Tá bá ń pè cos theta ní èdè Yorùbá, ó ní ìhà àfọwọ́pọ̀ angular. Ìhà àfọwọ́pọ̀ angular. Ní ibi cos theta yìí, a máa ń ní CA, that is adjacent over hypotenuse. Ibo ni adjacent wá fall sí níbí, which is OM over OP. OM over OP. At the same time, a tún lè lọ wo tan theta. Tan theta náà ó máa sọ fún wa pé opposite over adjacent. Tá bá dẹ̀ lọ wo opposite wọn bí báyìí, ó máa jẹ́ NP, that is bí báyìí NP over OM. Níwọ̀n ìgbà tá a ti sọ̀rọ̀ nípa mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta yìí, ní tí mo fẹ́ ká padà gbé yẹ̀wò, òun ni angle between 0 and 360 degree. Angle between 0 and 360 degree. So that is what we are trying to look at under the trigonometry this afternoon. So angles between between 0 degree and 360 degree. Ní abẹ́ eléyìí ní ká máa yẹ̀wò ní the Cartesian axis of 0x and 0y. How does it divide the plane? Tá bá fẹ́ ya plane wa, let me go to shape again. Let me take the shape where I have the this is the shade. This first shade, I have the quadrants. The quadrants, we have the first quadrant. Okay, let me take the pen. Pen is, this is first quadrant. This is first quadrant. This is second quadrant. Second quadrant, let me just leave it like that. We also have third quadrant, and we also have fourth quadrant. So the angle on this quadrant could be positive, it could be negative, depending on what, whether the rotation is anti-clockwise or clockwise. So having talked about this now, we now want to start some angles, checking the angles one after the other. Let's say, for instance, let me quickly clean. How do we determine the first quadrant, the second quadrant, and so on like that? Let me take my pen to, let's say I want to work on first quadrant now. For first quadrant, I'm having angle will now move from 0 degree. It will move from 0 degree, which is less than theta, and less than 90 degree. That is for the first quadrant. It has to move from 0 degree, less than theta, less than 90 degree. Now we're talking about that one. Let's say I have an angle in that regard that actually move. Let's say I have an angle moving. Okay, let me clean this. So this is an angle. Then I want to move this to this now. And in doing that, don't mind my writing, it might not be that straight. But in doing this, I want, from here to here is 90 degrees. So I'm trying to take some part of this out of it now. You see that the angle that is still in the first quadrant, it has to be positive numbers. Whether it is any number that moved from 0 to 90 degrees. Tí mò ń sọ ní kúkúrú ni pé gbogbo angle tí ó bá ti fall, tó bá ti lọ dúró sí ààyè first quadrant, ó máa ń jẹ́ positive. Ká sọ pé lè jẹ́ x and lè jẹ́ y wa. And angle tá wá níbẹ̀ yẹn, ká sọ pé a ní angle theta ń bí báyìí, angle theta degree ń bí báyìí. So in that case now, tá bá la fẹ́ mọ sin theta wa. Kí ni sin theta wa? Sin theta wa yóò mọ jẹ́ whatever tó bá fún wa yóò mọ jẹ́ kí ni plus number. Ìtumọ̀ rẹ̀ ni. Tó bá béèrè cos theta náà ní first quadrant, tó tí sì mí ṣe pé first quadrant ni mò ń ṣe. Cos theta náà, tá bá wo cos theta láàrin náà, ó náà mọ jẹ́ plus cos theta. The same thing happen to tan theta ní ààyè first quadrant. Ó náà máa jẹ́ plus tan theta. Ṣé ti pé gbogbo angle tó bá fall sí first quadrant, ó gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ kí ni positive answer.